It's that time, Hearties. I'm James Lott Jr. with my big curly hair today. I have stuff in it. Oh, it's just I thought I had stuff in it. It's just gray hair. Well, here we go. Another season done. I actually can't believe it that a season is over already. I went by that 11 weeks by so fast. But it was 11 weeks, and it did go by fast. And the show is over for its 10th season. It's the One Call Start After Show here on JLJ Media. Welcome to all the new people. I'll tell you, my last two episodes got a lot of attention, especially my last episode 10. So I think the controversy worked, apparently. Some of you hate me, love me, whatever. I love it. To me, I know it's a show. I know what I do on here, and I appreciate all the attention. I'll take it. That's the point of forgiveness. Remorse is enough. When we forgive someone, it's an act of grace. Forgiveness and grace. Where is that in today's world? We are going through a lot of stuff in the world right now, including the show. But yes, I think those are two things that are lacking in much of our world in a lot of different areas. But that's my favorite line of the episode. From one of my favorite scenes of the season. I'm going to start with that. I know what you guys are waiting for. We'll get to that in a sec. But I'm starting with Henry Gowan. Most improved character, one of the few characters from beginning to end, or beginning to now, I say end, that we get to see a full storyline character arc. Kudos to all the writers over the years. Kudos to all the actors acted with him, and kudos to Martin Cummings. I have to say, he turned in some wonderfully understated, beautiful work today. Mostly with Aaron. Him and Elizabeth, what an unlikely friendship, right? Makes sense to me, of course. I love it. Mentions of Abigail. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! I'm about to tell you one of the cliffhangers. He goes to Abigail's house. I was hoping. Were you not? Okay. Were you guys hoping Lloyd Loughlin was be standing right there? Question: would you take a recast, or does that have to be Laurie? I would have Laurie come back. That's just me. But I thought, well, I didn't see that coming. But the work that he did, he shows really what remorse is and what redemption is and how hard it is to accept redemption for yourself when you have to live with the consequences of what you do. I was like, that is realistic. If he was like, I'm all better now, I'm done, it'd be weird. I'm glad that we're seeing that he is struggling a little bit. But the town is telling him it's okay. So it has to sink in at some point. You have to believe it. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes we're harder on ourselves than anybody else can be. Marty Cummings gave some beautiful work when he's sitting and talking to Elizabeth about blowing things up. And she's like, yep, I understand that. And later sitting in his old office, and he's like, I was doing my work here, and she was doing her work over there, and they saw Abigail's cafe. Just wonderful work. Martin Cummings, congratulations. If these shows got nominated for Emmys, like they don't, like they should, I think he'd be up for a supporting actor. I just think it's wonderful. Making him Godfather made sense. I would have never said that 4 or 5 seasons ago. So it's just changed. And I like the fact when Lee and Rosemary kind of say to each other, maybe Goldie needs him since he needs her. That's really cute. Just again, there's so many things I would have guessed, but for me, it feels like, this is my opinion, it feels natural. It doesn't feel forced. Doesn't feel phony. I feel like he earned his spot. If there's such a thing about earning your spot, but just that he literally has gone through He brought being not being a great father, and obviously just everything. But it's like you have to at some point live with what you've done, obviously, put it in a place somewhere for you, and you have to move on. And if everybody's forgiving you, then you have to take that for face value, right? Take that. So just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work, Don Martin Cummings, and great supporting work from Aaron Krakow, who was literally just there to kind of support him up. Really good work. Like many of you, I think the cast is now a little large. So this season, and I've said this on several episodes, I wish we saw more of several characters. I just think because they do an hour show, which with commercials, it's like 40-something minutes, you can't do it. So that'd be one of my major flaws for this season. There's characters we care about that suddenly didn't have really any story. But they were sprinkled throughout the season. And on this particular episode, we got a couple of glimpses. There was a glimpse of Fiona, Miss Kayla Wallace, talking about why she always helps out Hickam. She got very contemplative with Faith and says maybe because she's not afraid to focus on her own lack of love life. That's realistic. You help other people before you help yourself, right? And I'm wondering, you say there, why are all these women? There's lots of these women out there on the show that have nobody, no love interest. I want to see more romance in season 11. That's just me. Also, the Canfields, I didn't see enough of them this season either. They were sprinkled throughout. I wish I saw more. But I loved the couple of scenes they had tonight because it was about a partnership, lack of self-care for the pastor who's out to help everybody else. We all can relate to, many of us can relate to that. We have the pastor part, but the part of, right now I'm a caregiver. So I mean, you're out there just, you're doing, and it's hard to get to yourself because you want to help your community. Minnie, of course, is a supporting wife who I love that they have a shorthand, which if they've been married so long, they would. But I love how she was like, you need to come home. The words will come. I understand him wanting to force the words, get the words out. I totally understand that completely. Men, we're fixers. We like to solve problems. But I love when he's at the baptism. He has his little speech, or whatever. But he looks at Minnie, and she just looks at him like, "You got this. I believe in you." The words are going to come without even saying it. It was just a great moment in that marriage, and the words came out. The baptism was wonderful. So speaking of that, baptism was wonderful. We saw a full storyline arc with Rosemary and Lee, so we did see that. And Goldie is now baptized, with Elizabeth being godmother, Henry being godfather. Elizabeth, I'm a huge fan of Rosemary. I'm a huge fan of Pascal, and so it's just been wonderful. And I have to say, because of the writer's strike and the acting strike here in America, this is the first season I haven't had any of the actors on my show, and it felt weird. It feels weird. I haven't had any actors on any of my shows. It's been super strange. I'm hoping, because the Writers Guild is back. SAG-AFTRA is at a stalemate at the moment, but we're hoping they will come to some solutions. Because I'm going to ask them if they can come on the show after the season, where once everything is cleared up. So just stay tuned. I feel like we need to talk about the season with some of the actors, and some of them are my friends, and I want to talk to them. So we're going to try to work something out there. Maysu and Hickam, very cute. Love it. Cutesy. I have nothing bad to say. I like it. And I think for him, Ben Rosenbaum has been on the show since the beginning, and he's earned a right to have a storyline really of his own. And I think I don't say earned, but that's kind of he did. He put in his time, and I think this could be a fun romance. And so even though I was a Maysu Nathan fan from last season, the season before, whatever, I was like, no, I like these two. I like them together. So I'm happy about that. Now this whole adventure was fun. We saw a glimpse of Florence and her daughter. I want to see more of that. Homegirl came back at the end with Jamie Madeline for Bill. Love Bill. Bill's hilarious. I'm still trying to get on board with them. I'm just not sure if I'm on board with them, because I guess I still wanted Molly and Bill. It's like they just never addressed it. I'm gonna ask Brother Brian all about that tomorrow. Yeah. But yes, I just wish they would address it, but they didn't. But I mean, for me, like I told you, I'm open arms. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how it goes, and if they continue this next season. So I get I get all the sides. They get all the sides. Because we'll get to Lucas and all that in a second. They get all the sides. I like the surrounding thing that's going on with the Pinkertons and all this stuff's going on, and hopefully now and all the surrounding danger of like little town versus large city. We're getting further in the 20s. I mean, I like the radio, I like all that kind of stuff, the cars and everything. I'm like trying to think. I'm trying to before I get to the big ones, I catch a lot of the other stuff. I think it's time for the big one. If I forgot something, then I forgot something. But I think I caught most of it, of what's going on with everybody that's going on. Oh, Faith. I want more with Faith. I want more with Faith next season. I don't know what they're going to do with her, about more with Faith. I do. Great actress. I love Andrea. Great actress. I want to see more with her. I knew it was somebody I was forgetting. Okay. Let's go to the big one, the big guns. Like, it's a minefield. We're going through. I'm chuckling because I have to chuckle because it's just, and I'm not afraid. Don't get me wrong. I'm not afraid. All opinions are mine and my own. You feel whatever you want. I'm going to say what I want. Just playing with my hair. But I'm acknowledging it's a minefield. I know it is, and it's a finale. Normally, finale would just be anything anyway, but the end of the day, ended on a cliffhanger, so we're gonna get to all that. So I can see several sides of this. Actually, I really can. As a writer, as a viewer, as a fan, I can see several sides of this, and I can see, because let's just be real. They're out there in the universe. There's the team Nathan and team Lucas. Now, I've always stated, I'll say it to you guys, hate me saying it, I'm team Elizabeth. I want to see it's about her journey. She came to this town. It's about her journey. The show would be over if she left Hope Valley. we just really. She needs to be in Hope Valley, not somewhere else. I actually agree with her in the character, that she needs to be here, raising little Jack. That's what she needs to be here. That's the whole thing. I can see, probably because this is a several pronged thing. The team Lucas and team Nathan thing it's very several pronged, because everyone was like not into the triangle that happened a few seasons ago. Even me and my co-host Michelle Feeney were not really into the triangle. I called it a little soapy. I wasn't really into it either. So I mean, I did. You could go back and you could see. You could get the receipts. I did say, like, I'm not into that much either. But we still, with open arms, followed the show. Right? We're following it to where it needs to go. I can see where some fans would go, she's just over Lucas already. She's just done. That's it. There's nothing else. That's it. And I can see where they see that on some level. I think partially because there's only 11 episodes a season and only 40 minutes an hour and an hour to do this, and many characters. And they do it to 3 weeks in ahead, and also they kind of have to shorten the time a little bit with certain things. And so I do see that. And I can see where Lucas fans feel totally shortchanged, because they were looking forward to, they kept mentioning on the show today, we're supposed to get married. The whole town was echoing everything, which was very natural. They broke up. The kids, the town, the flyers, everything was Lucas. And she says in one of the lines from the show, Lucas and I are friends. Later, she calls him, and she calls him back. They talk on the phone, and it feels like after a breakup of somebody you care about. It felt very natural. Like there's some feeling there. It's a little awkward, but you still need that person kind of give you some support, which she did. And but her talks with Elizabeth, her going to Jack's grave again, I can see where some folks feel shortchanged. They feel like, well, because here's the thing. Fans aren't dumb. I think some fans are crazy, and I'll say that, I don't care. But fans aren't dumb. I mean, the shows are out there. And I actually rely on fans sometimes to remind me certain things. Because fans will know which episode, what the line was, what season, what the scenario was. They will verbatim tell you if when they're invested in a show. Trust me, I do soaps, I do Star Wars, I do Marvel. I mean, all of the show genres that I do, the fans know what's going on. So I always say the receipts are out there now of what actually happened on the show. Now, where we differ is how we interpret and see it. So versus the writers they put out there. So the writers are writing a story. And they wrote a story. They wrote kind of a triangle. They did. We're not going to deny that. It's out there. They had her choose Lucas. She said on this episode she loved Lucas, which is totally possible. We feel like we saw that, and they portrayed it, and they saw it. But somehow it wasn't the right love, which happens all the time. It does. But I understand for folks who are Team Lucas and also Team Nathan, where they're like either upset because they're like, well, that was a waste of 3 years or 2 years. I've heard that. I've seen that many times in the discussions. To me, nothing's a waste. It's like life. You date someone for a couple of years, you get engaged. I've been engaged several times, never got married. But it wasn't a waste. It was part of my life journey. That's how I view it. It was part of my life journey. What we had was real. It just wasn't real enough for us to walk down the aisle and get married. But it was real. And you can also have epiphanies and stuff afterwards. And a lot of times they happen afterwards. You have to go through something and then you get clarity sometimes. That's just how it is. So I'm viewing Elizabeth as someone who is getting clarity. And she's kind of going, okay, I went this direction. I know she used the word safe, and that's a trigger word for a lot of folks I saw in the chats. That is a trigger word, that she had the safe choice. But how is that wrong? Maybe some people do pick the safe choice. Again, the show originally was about a Mountie and a teacher. They meet, fall in love, that whole thing. She says I go back to the season when Jack died. Actually, I go back to their courtship. And I remember a lot of folks were upset the courtship was too long, or it wasn't too long enough. There was people who were upset because, well, Danielson decided to leave. It wasn't their choice, decided to leave. People got upset because they thought they should have known sooner, as soon as the people know, when I guess Daniel made his decision or whatever. People felt very offended. I was there, trust me. They felt very offended, and they felt betrayed. And that's why I have a problem with this. It's like, it's a TV show. Most TV shows don't really owe you anything. Not behind the scenes stuff. They owe you a good show. They don't owe you behind the scenes knowledge. They don't have to tell you when something happens. And that's something that it's the entitlement of fans that's the part that you and I separate. They don't have to tell you anything. But this actor made a choice and decided to leave. So the show had to make a choice and made choices and blah blah. I remember a lot of folks back then were like, I can't see Elizabeth to anybody else. I think we did polls. We're like, do you see her somebody else, a new person? They're like, no. So when Lucas and Nathan came on, there was some trepidation. I remember it back then. Many of you guys do too. People were like, they were Jack fans, and that was it. That was cut to later. I think for some folks, because they did win them over with either, was it Nathan or Lucas? They won them over. Now they feel double betrayed because they feel like, well, now you won me over with this romance. or almost romance when it comes to Nathan. Like you didn't go there like we wanted you to, but you chose Lucas. Now they feel double betrayed because it's like, well, we accepted her with someone else, and he got close with little Jack, and I mean, I understand, I totally understand all that. Again, it's like real life. It happens. It kind of happens. So I get it. And I know some folks still are just Team Jack, and that's it. They still don't want. They think the show the show was over as soon as that. To this day, they tell me, "Oh, the show isn't the same since Jack left." And so and of course it hasn't. The show changed, but I know what they mean. They're like, "Nope, we're done." But for me, I'm with open arms. I'm Team Elizabeth. I'm like, I'm going to see what her journey is and what they decide to put her through. It is your right to not like the writer's choices. Yeah, it's your right. Not your writer's choices. But no one betrayed you. No one lied to you. Now, always say that's all over the top. Sorry, in my opinion. And I don't care. You can write me and tell me whatever you want. That's fine. I got a thick skin. That's how I feel. You can't change my mind. It's a show. It is a drama. You just means you're invested. You're feeling upset because you're supposed to feel upset. If you're a Lucas Elizabeth fan, you're supposed to want them together and have the wedding and the happy ending. It didn't happen. And now something may have happened to Lucas. That's again, spoiler alert. May have something. Who was that that showed up? And something may have happened to him. The thing is, Elizabeth is the lead of the show. So I know many of you are like, oh my God, we're going back to triangle territory again. We're not even sure it's triangle territory. She says they're friends. So it may be this she's going as a friend. And we have no idea what's going to happen. It's season 11. We have to wait. It's a cliffhanger. But people change their minds. People see things afterwards. And again, like the kids didn't like it at first. Everybody didn't like it. That makes sense. It totally makes sense. So for many of you, I'm like, no, I agree with you. You're upset. You're like, why is this happening? I would say, I called it a gut punch last week. It's completely a gut punch. It is. I was shocked myself. They went that direction. I was shocked. I thought for sure we were going to see a wedding also. I fully omit that. I can talk to Brian about that tomorrow. But I literally was like, oh, they're doing that. Okay. So I completely agree with you. Now, Nathan fans, Team Nathan fans, I know some are still upset. They feel like they had to go through all this stuff for nothing also. They felt she should just chose Nathan originally. Then there are others who are holding on. They were hoping that I saw online that Nathan and Elizabeth were, I guess, kiss or reunite or something. There were some moments, first awkward moments that to me are natural. She breaks up with Lucas. Nathan liked Elizabeth. It would be awkward, totally awkward. Oh, right, completely. And what do you do with that? If he came in and started saying, "I want you," blah blah, it's too soon. It's like it would be inappropriate because she has to kind of work through her feelings with Lucas, and still she's talking to Jack. And anybody who's lost someone, I've lost a loved one. I mean, as a person I was with, it stays with you for years. And sometimes and the mind is a very complex organ. Sometimes you tell yourself stuff. And for a while, we didn't see much of her talking to Jack at all. We got to see a couple times this season. I actually like that. I like that Jack's memory is still alive because he was a part of the first half of the show, first 5 seasons. So he was a major part of the show. I still wish his tombstone was bigger, but that's just me. So suddenly, with Lucas kind of out of the picture, I know that Nathan fans are completely excited. And so we don't even know yet, we don't, if they're getting together in season 11, Nathan and Elizabeth. We don't know that. Yeah, we don't. We don't know anything. There could be so many more twists and turns. So I know folks are afraid of a triangle, again, which is totally legitimate. I'm not going to tell you it's not legitimate. It's completely a legitimate concern. Because if I said it wasn't, I'd be lying. It's a legitimate concern. But secondly, we don't know. We don't know what happened to Lucas, first of all, so we don't know what happened to him. But we don't know what they're going to do with Nathan and Elizabeth. It seems, and again, I can admit this, it seems like they're putting them in the same orbit again. But then I was thinking about this the other day. I'm not a writer, so I'm not on the show, so I don't know this. But I was thinking, would it be interesting if Nathan and her become close friends and he helps her through the Jack stuff because he's a fellow Mountie? Because she keeps saying that, because she said on tonight's episode, I was afraid to, go for, this a certain direction because then I get hurt again in that way. It was a traumatic experience. Do you remember that episode? I remember the episode. That wail she get, how upset she was. It was a tough time to lose somebody. And it's just too similar. So would it be interesting? And it's, again, I'm not writing for the show. I could be wrong, so I don't know. But I'm saying, would it be interesting if he is like just the conduit for her to get over Jack fully and like accept that that's in the past. She has to open herself up to love. I keep saying Elizabeth is not infallible. Elizabeth is not perfect. I think she's a perfect teacher, of course, but she's not perfect in life, and that's kind of what this is. And I know when I said this is a drama, and I got some flack for saying that last time, but it is. I say that with the knowledge, knowing, yes, you get invested in TV shows. Sometimes TV shows can say, I said this last time, you can save your life. Some shows, they bring you that hour of joy the rest of your life doesn't have. It can save you from, hurting yourself or depression it shows me, I totally, trust me. I get enough responses myself who like my shows say that it helps them out. So I'm not ever negating that at all. However, it's a show. And they're here to give you ups and downs and all arounds. That's kind of the point. And again, you have every right to go, I don't like that storyline, I like this one. I want more of this, I want less of that. That's part and parcel of a show. And many of you have a right to go, I am done with the show. It's not what it used to was. I am done. That's it. I told you, I respect that. I actually respect more. I actually respect people more. Because I said, like Walking Dead, I use that as an example. I saw after season 8, I stopped watching it. It wasn't a show I wanted anymore. So I stopped watching it. I didn't talk crap about it. I didn't go and tweet about it and thought, I'm not, so I didn't do any of that. I didn't hashtag Heartie no more, that kind of stuff. I just quietly stopped watching the show. I moved on my life. But a lot of you out there who are upset and angry are not. You're voicing your opinion, which you can do. I always say, my pages are not a democracy, they're a dictatorship. I can put whatever I want on my pages. Yes, and the block buttons are good, mute buttons are good, all that stuff. So you can do whatever you want, of course. But I just look at it as, this is a show, it's been on for 10 seasons. It's not the same show it was when it started or midway through. It's a very different show, yes. But I still like it. I still like the feels I get. I still like many of the stories. I still like all the actors. I like the set. There are many things that I still like, and I'm a Heartie regardless. I'm not gonna be honest. I'm not a person to be like, I'm not a Heartie anymore for things. I like a certain storyline. I'm just not gonna do that. I've said that from the very beginning. Once I got on board, I am on board. I also want to thank the folks at HFR this year for recognizing me, Marissa. We were the first after show, but AfterBuzz TV, Marissa Serafini and I started this, and Maria Parmesan was our first co-host. We started this after show. We were the first one. There are other after shows out there now, but we were doing it first on a network that was known for after shows. So I appreciate, I can speak on behalf of me and Marissa. We appreciate any not acknowledgement that we got. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And like I said, we have been through a lot together these last 10 seasons. A lot. So I said, you can't say anything to me that's going to hurt my feelings anymore. I've been called everything from fraud to everything. I've had it. But again, like the show, I'm telling you what I see in my opinion. I actually am acknowledging there are different sides to this, and I know that there are people who can see it in different ways. So I always go back to 10 people can watch the show and see it 10 different ways. It's legitimate. That's completely legitimate. And so the things that you're seeing, I can see why. I can see why you see it on some level. I can see why you see it and why it make you upset. But I'm still in for the ride. I'm still in for the ride, and I am going to watch season 11 when it comes out, whenever it comes out, season 11. And I also want to mention something about ratings. You guys aren't the only people who do this. There are so people do it too, whatever and whatever. Ratings are some ways a crapshoot. I've never been a Nielsen family here in America. I've never been one, and I watch TV all the time. I work in TV. I've never been one. Ratings are nowadays somewhat accurate, right? All ratings are down. So people will try to tell me, well, ratings are down for the show. Well, ratings are down for everything. Want to know why? Because there's 100,000 choices out there. Ratings, you don't have to watch the show the same night. You can watch it whenever you want. So in some cases, people may watch it on Tuesday or Wednesday. That doesn't get counted. Sunday, Monday, or it's like DVR plus 3. There's a whole bunch of stuff on there. But people will mention ratings as the show is tanking and it should be off the air, and that's just not the truth. It still was number 1 in its time slots. It's still a huge hit for Hallmark, but all shows are down. No show is like what it used to was. There's no 50 share or 30 share anymore. That stuff's done. It's just done. The rules has been recalibrated in terms of what's a hit, which I'm glad, because there's shows that I like that probably wouldn't have lasted if we hadn't recalibrated, if everything hasn't gone down. So shows lose viewers, shows gain viewers. It's both. It happens all the time. It just happens all the time. And I'm sorry, I don't think it's for one storyline or another. It just whatever reasons, it happens. Again, I work in television, so I mean, I don't know. So I mean, people can cling to this whole thing. It's falling apart, and it's not. It got renewed for another season. So already, we don't have to. Remember, you usually have to wait to hear it. We got renewed for 2 seasons. We don't have to even worry about it. So it's coming back, and we'll see. But yes, the show is not the same as it was, but I do enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else happens. I'm looking forward to seeing Elizabeth's journey with this, and Nathan's journey. And if Lucas is on the show, Lucas's journey. I want to see what's going on, unless it ended. I don't know. I said those cliffhangers are kind of weird. So we got to see what's going on there. But I want to see what happens. And I'm excited. I want to thank the cast and crew. Because we were coming out of COVID and all that. At the same time, it's not been easy for us here in making make TV and movies and videos and all this stuff. I'm at home, not a studio anymore. All the studios I worked for went out of business. And I'm sad because several of my co-hosts for my shows, including Mr. Serafini, a lot of them stopped doing these shows because of the fans and fan reaction. And I have some co-hosts on my shows who are online but don't read fan reaction at all. And that's a shame, because we want to engage with you. Whether we agree or not, we want to engage with you. It's just the meanness that happens and the ridicule and the accusations. Like this is politics or something. It's crazy. So I'm telling you, I still engage. I will still talk. I mean, you want to comment? If you comment on my stuff, I'm going to sometimes comment back. So that's just how that is. But I love the Hearties. The Hearties have given me a lot over the years. I am grateful to the Hearties, to many Hearties, and many of the Hearties groups, like my Ohio Hearties, my Midland Hearties, my Southern California Hearties, my South Texas Hearties, my New York Hearties, my New England Hearties. I mean, just South Florida Hearties. I mean, I could keep going on and on. I love my Hearties groups. You guys support me. You guys are wonderful. I've been in this business almost 17 years. So I will continue, and I will not be scared off or put off or whatever, but we are allowed to disagree. We're allowed to debate sanely. That's why I invite. I have no problem. We can disagree on stuff, but we can also have a talk and still be family. Families disagree. That's how it works, right? Families disagree in life. But I enjoyed the show this season. I'm glad it came back. I'm looking forward to season 11. Tomorrow night, or if you're watching this, whenever you're watching this, there's another show that will be happening live Monday on October 16th. I'll make sure I timestamp so you guys know, because I don't know when you're watching this. That'll be me and Brian Bird. He comes on every end of our season. It's a tradition we've done for years. I'm talking like 8 years now, I think, or something like that. We've been doing it. And we talk about everything. And it's a live chat. Now, you're welcome to the chat, of course. Any rude or offensive language, I will kick you out the chat. So if you're thinking about coming to the chat to be rude and offensive to me or Brian, don't come. I'm just going to block you out. But if you have constructive things you want to say, I will read them, depending on what it is. And you can call me, whatever you want about that. But we're not going to do rude. We can do dissension, we can do difference, but we're not going to do rudeness. That's just not going to happen. But it's at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on October 16th, live here on YouTube, JLJ Media. And that'll be available as a separate show also. So we'll have both shows out. So yeah, both of these out there. I love you guys. I love you, Hearties. I say guys, but I love you, Hearties. That means everyone. And I'm James Lott Jr. And I will talk to you later on the interwebs. Good night.